Hello students, welcome to Inorganic class. Today class will discuss different periodic properties. So today class will discuss atomic radius, ionic radius, covalent radius and van der Waals radius. So what are the prerequisites of today class? You already know periodicity, that means how the physical properties and chemical properties of the elements vary in a regular interval. You also know different electron configuration of different elements and also valence electron. What is valence electron? The number of electrons present in the outermost shell of an atom. Then you also know what is effective nuclear charge. So effective nuclear charge is the net positive charge experienced by an electron in a multi-electron atom. Effective nuclear charge is represented by Z effective. So we know there are so many electrons in an atom. So whatever the net positive charge faced by the valence electron, it is known as your effective nuclear charge. So the inner cell electron that reduce the effective nuclear charge. So this is known as your screening effect. So or shielding effect. So the screening effect is defined as the reduction in the effective nuclear charge on the electron cloud due to difference in the attractive forces on the electrons in an atom. So the inner cell electron that will act as a screen which reduces the attractive force of nucleus on the valence shell electron. So this effect or this phenomenon is known as screening effect and shielding effect. What are the learning outcome? So after the class you can explain what is atomic radius and and the trend of atomic radius in periodic table. So you can also describe covalent radius and how it varies in a periodic table. So applying the trend of ionic radius, arrange different ions in increasing or decreasing order of size. Also you can differentiate between covalent radius and van der Waals radius. In periodic table, there are 7 rows known as periods and 18 columns known as groups. In periodic table, the elements are arranged in the increasing order of their atomic number, which is your Moseley's or modern periodic law. So what is periodicity? That is the regular variation or properties with increasing atomic number. That means both physical and chemical properties of the element vary in a repeating pattern. So what is this periodicity? This is reoccurrence of properties of the element after certain regular intervals when they are arranged in increasing order of their atomic number. So that means you see there are first period there are 2 elements. So the second period there is 8 elements. So that means when we complete the first period, the next hydrogen and helium, the next element come lithium. So lithium and hydrogen have same electronic configuration. Similarly, lithium and sodium same electronic configuration. There is 1 electron in the valence shell. So this cause of periodicity in properties of this repetition on similar outer electronic configuration after certain regular intervals. So this is the cause of periodicity. That means repetition of similar outer electronic configuration after the interval of 2, 8, 8, 18 and 1832. So this is your magic number. So when we will take the example, the elements of group 1, that is alkali metals, you will find they have similar electronic configuration, that is NS1, where N refers to the principal quantum number of the outermost shell. Let us discuss atomic radius. So atomic radius is stated as the total distance from an atom's nucleus to the outermost orbital of an atom. So in simpler terms, it can be defined as something similar to the radius of a circle. Here you see in hydrogen atom, the nucleus is situated at the center and the electron is present in the circumference of this circle. That means electron is present here. So this distance, the distance of nucleus from the nucleus to the this outermost electron, that is known as your atomic radius. So Here also in case of helium, what you are saying, this is the nucleus and these are the outermost orbital electrons. So this distance is known as your atomic radius. That means here this radius of the circle is known as your atomic radius. So actually the measured atomic radius, there is difference between the measured atomic radius and calculated atomic radius. Here you see the measured atomic radius is 53 picometer, but this value is sometimes something more than the calculated atomic radius. Let us discuss the trend of atomic radius in periodic table. So when we are going in a groove from top to bottom, what happens? The atomic radius increases. So why atomic radius increases in a groove? So when we are moving in a groove, the atomic number increases as well as the shell number also increases. That means the number of energy levels also increases as we moving down a groove, because the electrons are added in new cells when we are moving down a groove. So as the number of cell number increases, so the atomic radius increases, because new cells are added and the electrons are added in the new cell. So atomic radius increases on moving down a groove. So whatever the trend in period, so when we are going in a period, what happens? The atomic radius decreases as we moving left to right across a period. So what happens in a period, when we are moving in a period, what happens? The atomic number increases. So the number of protons increases. As the number of proton increases, the effective nuclear charge increases, because here in a period no new cells are added, so the electrons are added in the same cell. So what happens? When the effective nuclear charge increases, so that means here the screening effect remains constant, so the effective nuclear charge increases, so the force of attraction of nucleus on the electron increases. So the nucleus pulling the electron cloud closer towards itself, which results in smaller atomic radius. So when we are going across a period from left to right, the atomic size or atomic radius decreases. Let us discuss what is covalent radius. So covalent radius is half of the internuclear distance between the two bonded atoms. So here see, this is a chlorine atom. So the two chlorine atoms bonded to each other by a covalent bond. So this is a homonuclear molecule. So this internuclear distance, the distance from nucleus of one chlorine atom to another chlorine atom, that is known as your internuclear distance or covalent diameter. So here this diameter is the atomic radius of one chlorine plus atomic radius of another chlorine. So this diameter, covalent diameter, is the 2 times of radius of one chlorine atom. So here this covalent radius, it is equal to this distance 1.198 picometer divided by 2, that is your 99 picometer or 0.99 angstrom, or this is your 99 picometer. So in principle, sum of the two covalent radius should equal to the covalent bond length between the two atoms. So in general, we can call that this covalent radius RAB is the radius of atom A plus radius of atom B. The covalent radius of the element is generally less than the van der Waals radius, because this formation of covalent band involves the overlapping of atomic radius. So this, as a result, this internuclear distance between the covalent bonded atoms is less than the internuclear distance between the non-bonded atoms. So that means when we calculate the van der Waals radius, we will measure the internuclear distance between the two non-bonded atoms or the bonded atoms of two different molecules. So always covalent radius is smaller than the van der Waals radius. So this is the trend of covalent radius in the periodic table. See what you are observing here. So when we are going in a groove, that means here what happens, the covalent radius increases because the new cells are added in the groove. So electrons are added in new cells, this covalent radius increases. But the when you are going in a period, what you will see? When you are going in a period, this covalent radius decreases. So here you also this decreases up to this group VIA elements up to halogens, but for your noble gases or inert gases, this covalent radius is higher in comparison to other elements on the same period. So what you are observing here, that means covalent radius increases in a group and decreases in a period. Let us discuss what is ionic radius. First of all, how an ion is formed. So metals tend to form positive ions by losing one or more valence electrons. So here you see this is sodium. When sodium has valency, it has configuration 2, 8 and 1. So in valence shell it contains 1 electron. When sodium loses this 1 electron, it will convert it into sodium plus ion. So this is your cation. So all metals will form positive ions or cations. So then non-metals, the non-metals they tend to form negative ions by gaining one or more electrons. So these negative charge ions are called anions. See chlorine. Chlorine has 7 electrons in the valence shell. When it will take accept 1 electron, it will convert it into chloride ion and it has total 8 electrons in the valence shell. So what are the trend of ionic radius? So first of all, what is ionic radius? So ionic radius is the distance from the nucleus of an ion up to which it has an influence on its electron cloud. So that means it is the influence of nucleus on the electron cloud. So what is the trend of ionic radius? So ionic radius, what happens to the ionic radius in a group? When you are moving in a periodic table, so when we are moving down in a group, so ionic radius increases, because when we are moving down a group, so the atoms add extra shell. That means so the number of electrons increases when we are moving down a group, and the number of new cells also increases. The electrons are added in new cells. So as the electrons are added in new cells, so ionic radius of element increases on moving down a group. Then let us discuss what happens in a period. When we are going across a period, the trend of ionic radius is not regular. That means sometimes it increases, sometimes it decreases. Let us see. So when we are moving across a period, so ionic radius decreases for metals. That means for we generally know metals from cations. So as this metal lose their outer electron or outermost electron, so they are forming cations. So the effective nuclear charge, so the number of protons remain similar, but the number of electrons decreases. So in the cation. So what happens? The effective nuclear charge also decreases, increases. So as the effective nuclear charge increases, so the ionic radius decreases. So as we are moving across a period for the metals, that means for S block elements, so the ionic radius it is decreases. But for non-metals, then only for P block elements, so for the P block elements, what happens? The effective nuclear charge decreases, because in the P block elements form anions. So in anions, new electrons are added to the outermost orbital. So the effective nuclear charge decreases, because the number of protons remains same, but the number of electrons increases. So as this effective nuclear charge decreases, so the for case of non-metals or for case of P block elements, so this atomic radius, ionic radius increases. So then just compare these ionic radius with neutral atom. So see here, this is the chlorine atom and this is the chlorine ion. So what will happen? That means this chlorine will accept one electron and it will convert it into chloride ion. So this is the chlorine atom, the atomic radius is 99 picometer. When it converted into chloride minus, so the ionic radius increases, that is 181 picometer. Why this happens? because here you see the effective nuclear charge. Here in this case it decreases because the number of proton is same in both chlorine and chloride minus, but the number of electron increases in chloride minus. So the effective nuclear charge decreases. As the effective nuclear charge decreases, so ionic radius increases. So anions are larger in size from their neutral atom. Whereas when we consider cations, reverse thing occurs, because in case of cation, what happens? Cations lose electron and they will convert it into your positive ion. This sodium, it will lose electron and it will convert it into sodium plus. So when sodium will convert it to sodium plus, so one valency electron already lost. So what will happen in this case? Here there is 11 protons. So here there is also 11 protons but 10 electrons. But here 11 protons and 11 electrons. So that means here in this case the effective nuclear charge increases. So as the effective nuclear charge increases, so cations have smaller size than the neutral atom. So let us see the trend of ionic radius. See, when you are moving in a group, so what happens? The ionic radius increases here. Here also in all the groups ionic radius increases. But when we are going across a period, so for period what happens? For this for the periods, it will see it also decreases here, again it increases, then again it decreases. So in period the trend is not regular for the ionic radius. So let us examine the ionic radius of isoelectronic species. What do you mean by isoelectronic species? That means ions having same number of electrons are known as isoelectronic species. So let us see, arrange the following ions in the increasing order of their ionic radii. So take here F minus, sodium plus, O2 minus, N3 minus, Mg2 plus. So when you will see all are having same number of electrons. So these are all isoelectronic species. So how will arrange them with the increasing order of their ionic radii? So see here the answer is magnesium has less ionic radii, then nitrogen has more ionic radii. Why this thing happens? So when these are all having magnesium to nitrogen, these are all having, that is 10 number of electrons. But in case of magnesium there is 12 protons. So the nuclear charge on magnesium is more. That means effective nuclear charge in case of magnesium is more. So as the effective nuclear charge in case of magnesium is more, so the nucleus has more attraction towards the electron cloud. That means effective nuclear charge in case of magnesium is more, then sodium, then fluorine, then oxygen, then your nitrogen. That means magnesium 2 plus ion has higher effective nuclear charge in compared to sodium plus, in compared to fluorine minus, and then O2 minus, then N3 minus. That means here we will see the effective nuclear charge is decreases. So the effective nuclear charge decreases means the size increases. So ionic radii increases here. So when we will just arrange this in the increasing order of their ionic radii, so among these ions, N3 minus has higher ionic radii compared to all. So let us discuss Van der Waals radius. So Van der Waals radius is a measure for the size of an atom that is not chemically bound. That means Van der Waals radius will calculate for the two non-bonded atoms of different molecule. See here, this is a molecule and this is another molecule. So when we will calculate the covalent radius, this is the half of the internuclear distance between the bonded atoms. So this is for this molecule. So this is the covalent radius is 99 picometer. So this covalent radius of this molecule is also different. When we will take this internuclear distance and divide it, so you will get the covalent radius. So if it is a homonuclear, this is same molecule. So for this covalent radius is 99 and for this covalent radius is 99. But what is van der Waals radius? It is the distance between the two non-bonded atoms of two different molecules. So take this molecule and this molecule. So this distance, intermolecular distance of this atom of this molecule and this atom. So this internuclear distance. So this is known as your internuclear distance. When you take this half of this, so this is known as your van der Waals radius. So van der Waals radius is the internuclear distance, half of the internuclear distance of two non-bonded atoms of two molecules. So it is defined as half of the distance between the nuclei of two identical non-bonded isolated atoms or two adjacent identical atoms belonging to different neighboring molecules of an element in a solid state. That means here the van der Waals radius you will calculate for the two different for the two atoms of different molecule. So this values of van der Waals radius, here you see that it is greater than the covalent radius, because this covalent radius this is the radius of these two bonded molecules. So that means van der Waals radius is always greater than the covalent radius, because we know van der Waals forces are weak forces. So the force of attraction between the two non-bonded atoms of a molecule is less. So the van der Waals radius is less, but the covalent bonding force is more than the van der Waals force. So covalent radius is more than the van der Waals radius. Here we are seeing the van der Waals radius, it is of between two isolated two atoms of non-bonded atoms of different molecules. So van der Waals radius is always greater than the covalent radius. For reference or learning source, you can follow Essential of Physical Chemistry by A.S. Bhal and B.S. Bhal and G.D. Tully. And I have also follow Concise Inorganic Chemistry by J.D. Lee, and also followed this internet source material for this chapter. You can follow this reference for these periodic properties. Thank you all.